Day 2, 19 June 2016. Despite the miles we rode the first day, all 4 adventurers exit their hotel rooms at the Best Western, spirits high. After many a cup of coffee and a good breakfast, we are ready to ride. For me, recovery was a necessity yesterday. The hotel had an indoor hot tub and swimming pool. I used it to loosen up from the serious miles we rode on day 1. I alter between hot tub and pool. Day 2 will not see a complaint from me. Giddy again with the prospect of the adventure awaiting us, we pose in front of the unique sign that is front and center of the hotel. Post to Facebook, then ride. Throttling up from the excitement, the marathon concept from yesterday's start is promptly forgotten yet again. It seems we are bent on sprinting this trip. Today is Father's Day, which explains the near empty roads of the small villages and one-horse towns we are rolling through. I keep seeing signs informing us that we are riding the Santa Fe Trail. Such a fitting happenstance since I fashioned us modern-day cowboys in all my daydreaming. A tumbleweed crosses the road in front of us as we come to a stop in the town of Springer, New Mexico. A light wisp of dust rises from the gentle breeze that crosses our path. The theme song from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly plays in my head. It hits me that I have to get a picture of that Santa Fe Trail sign. The problem is, it is further back than I originally thought. My wonderful wife offers to run back and photograph it. My deep abiding chivalry tugs at me, so I whip a U-turn and go get her. What could it hurt? There is no one visible in any direction. I turn around, going upstream like a dedicated salmon looking for its spawning ground. Shannon is grateful for my efforts and climbs on the bike to continue our ride. Picture taken and satisfied that I have captured the vital evidence of our cowboy-like ride, I go back to the same stop sign to rejoin our fellow desperados. They have already taken the left-hand turn and are patiently waiting for us. Instead of the full stop I am duly required to do as a licensed motorcycle rider facing an LED-lit stop sign, I roll through it, pausing only slightly to acknowledge that a traffic control sign even exists. What could it hurt when the only living souls in existence are the ones in our party? No sooner than I straighten my front wheel from the left-hand turn than lights are seen behind me. Day 2, and I'm going to a New Mexico jail for sure, are my immediate thoughts. That is, if thoughts and previous acts of rebellion are to be atoned for this day. I hit the kill switch, search for the appropriate paperwork, and hand it to the police officer as he approaches us. I sort of fumble my driver's license, having first grabbed my retired military ID. I have gotten so used to reaching for it first. I have pulled it out more often than a civilian could possibly understand. Old habits die hard, it seems. The officer notices the mistake and asks, "Are you ex-military?" A little more aggressively than my minor infractions should warrant. "Yes, sir, I am." Calm and secure in the fact that I am only guilty of minor offenses, unless a roll through a stop sign is a felony in this ghost town. "Well, it won't help you get out of the ticket today," he growls back at me. I did not think that it would. I know I rolled through that stop sign, and I'm sorry about that. I reply in apathy more than anything, really. I didn't care if I got a ticket. I did the crime, and I'll pay the fine. Bearing the fine is not a caning and a night in the county jail. Satisfied with my answer, he backs away to run my license or call in reinforcements. I was not 100% sure at this point, given his aggressive replies. Though a calm exterior, my internal dialogue is of more sarcastic tone. "Yeah, you better call in help. I'm here to rape, pillage, and plunder." I chuckle to myself as I wait for his return. He must have received some great news back at his truck, because the guy that returns is a lot nicer in tone and attitude. He saunters up and tells me he was a ranger in the Army and asks if I'm a father. "Yes, sir, I am," is my simple reply. "I want you to ride safe so you can get back to your family." I tell him thank you and ask if he has any children of his own. He says that he has 2 sons that are both on the police force. He was working today so that they could be home with their children. He said he was mostly looking for drunks today, and since I was obviously not a drunk, he was going to let us go on our way. But he had a little word of warning for us. He said, "I'm not going to give you a ticket today, but running an LED lit stop sign comes to $500 fine. And making a U-turn against traffic, $500 fine. All told, he saved me $1,000 plus." So, word to the wise, if you see an LED lit stop sign, know they mean it twice as much. I thank him profusely and tell him Happy Father's Day, and to tell his sons Happy Father's Day. He asks, "Which direction are you guys riding?" We tell him we are doing a 48-state ride as a fundraiser for our local veterans home, and that we are headed to Santa Fe, basically the fastest route possible. Said, "I understand if you don't have time, but you really need to ride through Taos and Angel Fire. And don't forget to stop at the Vietnam Memorial. It's a bit of a detour, but it's definitely worth it." I'm glad we decided to follow his advice. It is still early in the trip, so we agree that taking a small detour wouldn't derail our plans too much. We ride toward Cimarron with the hope that it is everything that officer promised. I don't believe we could have guessed just how beautiful and how fun the ride was. The area transitions from flat, similar terrain dotted with windmills to a dry, mountainous pass. Gorgeous. Behind a barbed wire fence with wooden fence posts stand a small number of antelope. I am rather disappointed that they are not playing with some deer, but how often do you see antelope? It is thrilling to cruise through this scenery, looking like it was cut out of every Western movie I've ever seen. The temperature seems to drop slightly with the cover of the rising red rock peaks surrounding us. The evergreens scrub the car exhaust from the air, leaving a clean, crisp odor that would make Pine Sol jealous. I can almost see the lone native standing a stoic vigil, insinuating the violent end to come at the end of the pass, or the bandana-masked outlaw waiting to waylay the unsuspected, good-natured, oblivious rider. Cimarron Canyon State Park does not disappoint. I wish ill on those with cabins around this beautiful hunk of nature out of sheer jealousy. Cresting the last peak, we are greeted by a panoramic view of a spectacular lake. The dry air conjures longing thoughts of seeking relief in its cool depths. The whole of the lowland stretches out as far as the horizon. We see the sign for the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Eagle Nest and pull in. I really enjoy museums, but one geared towards veteran themes can be hard emotionally. It is difficult to see reminders of hardships experienced by others, hardships that, despite the differences in the wars, still ring true to the human experience. This place is not large, but very unique in architecture. Regardless of the size of the place, it has the intended impact on this visitor. Walking through the museum, I am overcome with emotion. There are so many names etched on red bricks lining the walkways. Some of the veterans are still living, but many bricks have 2 dates on them. After a time, I begin to cry. I cry for the lives lost and the continued loss of life in foreign wars. I wonder just how alien that loss is to civilians. For them, is it just one more name on the evening news? Unless it's a friend or family member, are they ignorant of the cost? It is often hard to see their understanding with all the complaining they express under the blanket of protections given to them by men and women willing to hazard the risk of war with rifle in hand. The long trail of brave ones whose time was before us, forgotten in history class, as well as today's brave and selfless. I think of them. I grieve with their families every time Taps plays. I know the sacrifice too well. I know that not all wounds are visible. To them, I shed unashamed tears. I see you, brother. I see you, sister. From there, through another mountain pass to Taos. Then follow the Rio Grande River all the way down to Santa Fe Harley-Davidson. The luggage used by our riding partners is falling apart. They decide it's time to get a replacement set of Harley-Davidson luggage like my wife and I use. The luggage bought, clothes transferred over, and poker chips in hand, we eat at the best restaurant in town to celebrate Father's Day. Back on I-40, we try to make up for lost time. The distraction of great views and history cannot hold back our destiny. We are bound for 48 states. Our original agreement was 5 to 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. As the desert stretches out before us, we feel the heat of the day melting our resolve. 5 to 10 quickly becomes 20 over, possibly motivated by the rise in heat. The next fuel stop brings on a realization that summer in the desert may have been a bad idea. Being the warriors that we are, a solution is needed to combat the heat. I think an ice pack would be great, so I buy a box of off-brand zipper bags to make them at every stop. After 15 minutes of icing and AC, we load up and race the setting sun. The miles tick off as we slip and slide past semi-trucks on a twisty, hilly desert interstate. It is soon realized that the heat is getting to be too much for us, especially my wife, who indulged in a margarita at the Father's Day meal. It was ill-advised for sure, but hindsight at this point is not on the agenda. We are forced to pull over in Grants, New Mexico for the night. We were scheduled to be in Vegas today, but the emotional stress and rising heat put a halt to our plans. So we will live to fight another day. That is the end of day 2. Until next time, my name is James Parker, and I am a Savage Rider. Savage Rider, out. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, consider giving it a like and sharing it with your friends. If you would like to be notified of future releases, consider subscribing to my channel. If you think it was cringe and absolutely ridiculous, go ahead and tell me in the comments below. Then share it with your friends. They may need a dose of cringe silliness today. Either way, thank you and God bless.